You sleep 8 hours, but you still wake up tired, foggy, and unmotivated. Why? Because sleep is not just closing your eyes. It is an active biological process where your brain physically washes away toxins. If you don't follow the protocol, you are not sleeping, you are just passing out. Today, I will teach you how to sleep like a neuroscientist to rebuild your focus and memory overnight. The trap: junk sleep. Why 8 hours in bed does not equal 8 hours of rest. Junk sleep is sleep time spent in bed without delivering restorative benefits. Time in bed does not equal rest when sleep is fragmented, shallow, or misaligned with your body's rhythms. The brain's recovery depends on precise sleep architecture, and when that structure is disrupted, attention, memory, and mood pay the price. The glymphatic system is your brain's waste disposal network. Think of it as a brain dishwasher that uses cerebrospinal fluid to flush out metabolic byproducts. This clearance accelerates during sleep, especially in deep sleep stages, and slows when you stay awake or drift in and out of light sleep. When sleep is fragmented, toxins accumulate and cognitive performance the next day suffers. Clean sleep equals sharper focus, quicker reaction times, and better emotional balance. Light exposure, temperature, and stimulants shape the quality of the sleep you actually get. Dim the lights well before bed and avoid bright screens in the hour leading up to sleep. If you must use devices, enable warmth in the display or wear blue blocking glasses to protect melatonin. Keep the bedroom cool and well ventilated. A target range around 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 to 19 degrees Celsius, supports quieter sleep and fewer awakenings. Cut off caffeine early in the day. For most people, stopping caffeine by mid-afternoon reduces the chance of racing thoughts and trouble falling asleep. Some individuals metabolize caffeine more slowly, so they may need a longer buffer. To simplify, many people use the 3-2-1 rule as a practical blueprint. 3 hours before bed, avoid stimulants like caffeine and nicotine and heavy workouts that leave you wired. 2 hours before bed, skip large meals and minimize alcohol intake, which can disrupt sleep stages. 1 hour before bed, power down screens and embrace dim lighting that signals the body to wind down. This framework isn't a rigid prescription, but it helps shave off the parts of the night that create junk sleep. Implementing it consistently nudges you toward genuine rest, not just hours spent in a dark room. A concrete example: you plan to sleep at 11 p.m. If you have coffee at 2 p.m. and scroll on bright screens until you fall asleep, you're stacking misalignment against your brain's dishwasher. By applying the principles above, you switch the scene. Caffeine ends by early afternoon, the room stays cool, lights dim to amber tones in the evening, screens are off well before bed. The result is longer periods of restorative sleep, fewer awakenings, and clearer mornings. The goal is sleep efficiency, more actual rest per hour in bed, not merely more time spent with your eyes closed. The insight: the brain dishwasher. While you sleep, your brain cells shrink to wash away toxic waste. During sleep, the brain clears waste products via a specialized system that acts like a cleansing cycle for the central nervous system. This network, often called the glymphatic system, moves cerebrospinal fluid through brain tissue and carries away metabolic byproducts. The insight known as the brain dishwasher captures a striking feature of this process. While you sleep, brain cells shrink slightly, increasing the extracellular space and enabling more fluid flow. That expansion creates a more efficient channel for washing away toxins that build up during the day. When this system runs smoothly, cognitive functions feel sharper in the morning and reactions feel quicker. When sleep is fragmented or shallow, the cleaning cycle stalls and waste can accumulate, which can cloud thinking the next day. Junk sleep is a real concept in practice. It refers to nights that look long but deliver poor quality restorative sleep. You might remain physically in bed for 7 or 8 hours, yet fail to achieve enough deep or REM sleep for adequate brainwashing. Chronic fragmentation, late night awakenings, or irregular schedules disrupt the glymphatic flow, leaving the brain with a partial cleaning job and a lingering sense of fatigue. Activities that spike arousal too close to bedtime, or environmental factors that keep the room labored with light and noise, contribute to junk sleep. The effect is subtle at first, but over weeks it can dull attention, slow reaction times, and dim working memory. The brain is cleaner in the morning when the wash cycle runs well, and that clarity is the goal. The brain dishwasher operates most effectively under certain physiological conditions. Adequate slow-wave sleep and stable sleep pressure help the glymphatic system do its job. Temperature and lighting environments influence how easily your brain can enter and sustain those restorative stages. Cooler rooms promote deeper sleep for many people, while bright or blue-enriched light in the hours before bed can delay the onset of the cycle. Hydration matters too, but excessive fluid intake right before bed can cause awakenings that interrupt the wash. The goal is a predictable, uninterrupted window where the glymphatic machinery can run its course without interruptions from wakefulness or stress. To optimize sleep efficiency and maximize this nightly cleaning, adopt a practical framework. Light viewing should be minimized in the hour before bed. Dim, amber or warm lighting is preferred if you must use devices. Keep the sleeping environment cooler, around 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 to 19 degrees Celsius, if you can, and ensure good airflow. Caffeine should be avoided well before bedtime. A general guideline is a cutoff about 3 hours prior to lights out, recognizing personal sensitivity. The 3-2-1 rule provides a simple structure. 3 hours before bed, avoid caffeine. 2 hours before bed, skip heavy meals and alcohol. 1 hour before bed, power down screens and settle into low stimulation activities. If you need a snack, keep it light and not spicy or caffeinated. Consistency matters. A regular wake time helps reinforce the brain's cleaning rhythm, even on weekends. This combination, clear light management, temperature control, and a disciplined caffeine cutoff, supports the glymphatic system's nightly wash cycle. When the routine is reliable, you're more likely to wake with greater mental clarity, quicker processing, and improved focus. You get closer to the intended function of sleep rather than merely occupying time in bed. The brain dishwasher becomes a reliable ally, making space for clean neural circuits to operate at full capacity the next day. The protocol, light control. Why morning sunlight is your start button and darkness is your off button. Light is the dominant cue guiding your circadian rhythm, and the brain treats morning light as a signal to wake up. The system uses the arrival of daylight to align physiology with the outside world, pushing alertness into the day and nudging melatonin toward its low point. When darkness returns in the evening, melatonin rises, and sleep pressure becomes easier to accept. In practical terms, that push-pull creates a reliable start button in the morning and an off button at night. This is the core idea behind light control as a protocol for rebuilding focus overnight. Strategically viewing light is the first lever. Step into outdoor light within 30 minutes of waking for a core dose of natural light, ideally 10 to 30 minutes, depending on your geography and skin exposure. If you can't step outside, a bright indoor light source that delivers thousands of lux can substitute for a short window, but natural light remains preferable because it contains the full spectrum mix. Throughout the day, keep a steady light environment that supports wakefulness during daylight hours and lower stimulation as evening approaches. In the 2 hours before bed, minimize exposure to screens and blue-enriched lighting. Use dim, warm lighting if you must be up. Glare and overly bright environments at night blunt the brain's ability to settle, making it harder to transition into restorative sleep. A practical tip: swap harsh ceiling lights for softer lamps, and consider light filtering glasses if you must be near devices late. Temperature and caffeine act as important co-pilots to the light protocol. A cooler sleep environment supports the natural drop in core body temperature that accompanies sleep onset. Aim for a bedroom in the mid-60s Fahrenheit, roughly 18 to 20 degrees Celsius, if you can, with good air circulation and light bedding. Avoid overheating, because warmth makes it harder to drift into deep sleep. On caffeine, a conservative cutoff helps prevent interference with sleep architecture. Many people find that avoiding caffeine after mid-afternoon reduces awakenings and improves morning alertness. Some individuals metabolize caffeine more slowly, so they may need to push the cutoff even earlier. Pair this with a consistent bedtime and a wind-down routine to reinforce the signal that night has begun. In this framework, the glymphatic system, your brain's housekeeping, works best when sleep is consolidated and uninterrupted, so light and temperature work with you rather than against you. The concept of junk sleep anchors these ideas in everyday outcomes. Junk sleep happens when sleep looks long on the clock but fails to restore cognition and mood because light exposure disrupts timing, or the architecture is fragmented. In contrast, a clean night with properly timed light cues allows the glymphatic brain dishwasher to run efficiently, flushing metabolic waste during slow wave and sleep-dependent stages. You'll notice sharper focus, steadier attention, and quicker reaction times after a night that respected the start and off signals. The 3-2-1 rule helps operationalize this. 3 hours before bed, avoid caffeine altogether. 2 hours before bed, dim lights and switch off screens or use night modes. 1 hour before bed, begin a pre-sleep routine in a calm, low-stimulation environment. Implementing this rule consistently reduces nocturnal awakenings and enhances sleep efficiency, letting the brain finish its nightly cleaning cycle without interruption. Together, light control, temperature, and caffeine management form a practical, repeatable protocol designed to rebuild focus overnight. The hack: cool it down. Your body needs to drop temperature to enter deep sleep mode. Core body temperature falls in the evening, and this cooling acts as a signal for the brain to move toward deeper sleep. This isn't a vague trend. It is a precise cue that helps slow-wave sleep become more accessible. In parallel, the glymphatic system ramps up activity during the night, sweeping waste products from brain tissue. Think of it as a brain dishwasher that runs most efficiently when you stay in a steady, cooler sleep state. When cooling is insufficient, restorative processes stall and the night loses some of its power. Junk sleep is a real phenomenon. It happens when you are in bed, yet the brain never fully activates the deep sleep that matters for memory, mood, and focus. You might feel tired, foggy, or unfocused the next day even after many hours in bed. The defect isn't always the number of hours, it's the quality of those hours. Fragmented or shallow sleep erodes attention and learning, and it leaves you operating with a maintenance-level brain rather than a high-performance one. The fix is not only timing but also the environment that supports proper sleep architecture. Light viewing before bed is a controllable lever with real consequences. Bright or blue-enriched light suppresses melatonin and delays sleep onset. In practice, dim the screens and switch to warmer lighting as the evening unfolds. If you must move around the house, use low-intensity, red-tinged lamps rather than harsh overheads. Dim mirrors and bathroom lights during the final hour. Close curtains or blinds to minimize early night outdoor glare. In short, reduce light intensity and shift toward warmth in the 2 hours before you intend to sleep. This step primes the brain for the thermal and neural cascade that follows. Temperature regulation is the core mechanical hack. The bedroom should feel cool and breathable, with bedding that permits heat to escape. A commonly recommended target is a room temperature in a comfortable, cool range. This is typically around 64 to 66 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 to 19 degrees Celsius, for many people, with a range that works between roughly 59 to 66 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 to 19 degrees Celsius. Use breathable sheets, cotton blankets, and a pillow that doesn't trap heat. If you wake with sweat or feel overheated, a thin fan or a gentle cross breeze can help without creating a wind tunnel. The goal is steady heat loss from the skin to facilitate the drop in core temperature, not to freeze yourself into sleep. Pair cooling with a brief pre-sleep routine to reinforce the onset of relaxation and deepen the cooling effect. Caffeine cutoff is a concrete action you can implement tonight. Caffeine remains in the system for several hours, sometimes well into the afternoon for sensitive individuals. A practical rule is to stop caffeine use 6 to 8 hours before your typical bedtime. For example, if you go to bed around 10 p.m., avoid coffee, tea, chocolate, and many sodas after early afternoon hours. Some people notice a difference with an 8-hour cut, others need closer to 6 hours. If you rely on afternoon caffeine, consider alternatives like decaf coffee, herbal tea, or water to satisfy the ritual without provoking wakefulness. The 3-2-1 rule ties these techniques together in a simple framework. 3 hours before bed, minimize stimulants and heavy meals that demand digestion during sleep. 2 hours before bed, avoid alcohol and large late meals that disrupt sleep architecture. 1 hour before bed, switch off screens and keep the room dark or dimly lit. Put devices away, lower ambient light, and begin a calm wind down. This rule helps synchronize the timing of cooling, light reduction, and metabolic calm. It's not a guarantee by itself, but it compounds the effects of a cooler body and a cleaner neural slate. Putting this into practice creates a smooth, repeatable path to better sleep efficiency. You'll notice deeper sleep cycles, clearer mornings, and sharper daytime focus. The glymphatic system thanks you for the nightly courtesy of a cool, quiet environment, giving your brain a thorough rinse while you rest. If you want to optimize overnight recovery, start with the temperature and light, respect caffeine cutoffs, and apply the 3-2-1 framework consistently. The result is not just rest, it is a more efficient engine for your waking hours. The rule: the caffeine curfew. Why coffee at 2 p.m. destroys your sleep quality at 10 p.m. Caffeine lingers in the bloodstream long after you sip it, and for many people a 2 p.m. cup can still tilt the sleep odds against a 10 p.m. bedtime. The typical half-life in healthy adults is about 5 hours, but this varies with genetics, liver enzymes, and regular use. In practical terms, a caffeine dose at 2 p.m. can remain active for a substantial portion of the evening, making it harder to fall asleep, increasing wakefulness in the second half of the night, and reducing the amount of time spent in deep, restorative sleep. Sleep onset becomes more fragile, and you may wake with a sense of unrecovered fatigue even if you otherwise logged 8 hours. This is the core of the caffeine curfew rule. Caffeine is not a mere morning luxury. It reshapes sleep pressure and the architecture of your night. When adenosine receptor blockade persists into the evening, the brain cannot accumulate the buildup of sleep drive that helps you transition smoothly into slow-wave sleep. The consequence is a higher likelihood of lighter sleep stages dominating the early night, and less time in the restorative depths of sleep that consolidate memory and refresh daily function. Even if you fall asleep on time, the quality of that sleep can suffer, which many people experience as waking up not feeling refreshed. The pattern compounds over time if caffeine is consumed late regularly. Junk sleep is a useful lens here. It describes sleep that meets duration goals but lacks the quality needed for cognitive sharpness and mood regulation. You might clock 7 or 8 hours, yet wake with grogginess, have fragmented sleep, or fail to reach enough deep and REM sleep to reset your brain for the next day. Caffeine afternoon is a common accelerator of junk sleep because it blunts sleep pressure and disrupts the natural downshift of arousal that should occur in the evening. When the glymphatic system, the brain's waste clearing network, cannot operate at peak efficiency during robust deep sleep, by morning you feel foggy and notes of not enough brain cleanup linger. The brain dishwasher analogy fits. The cleaner the wash, the clearer the mind in the morning. The longer the curfew is ignored, the muddier the rinse cycle becomes. To make the caffeine curfew work, practical protocols matter. Light viewing should fade as the evening progresses. Screens give off blue light that signals the brain to stay alert. Dim the room and switch to warmer color temperatures at least 2 hours before bed. Keep the room cool, ideally around 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit, and ensure bedding promotes a comfortable, steady body temperature drop. Set a firm cutoff for caffeine at or before 2 p.m., and if you are particularly sensitive, move it earlier and test whether a 4 p.m. cutoff is needed. If you drink coffee in the morning, consider reducing later intake gradually to avoid withdrawal symptoms muddling daytime performance. The 3-2-1 rule helps translate these ideas into a practical routine. 3 hours before bed, finish caffeine and heavy meals to reduce digestive and metabolic arousal. 2 hours before bed, dim lights, switch off or lower the brightness of screens, and avoid stimulating activities. 1 hour before bed, engage in a calm wind down, quiet reading, gentle stretching, or breathing exercises, so the brain can downshift towards sleep. The goal is to align your physiology with the brain's clockwork so that sleep pressure builds efficiently and the glymphatic system can operate during deeper stages of sleep. Pair these steps with consistent bedtimes and a relaxing pre-sleep ritual, and you begin to rebuild sleep efficiency rather than simply chasing longer hours. In practice, you'll notice clearer mornings and more stable evenings once caffeine curfews become routine. Track nights where you still consumed caffeine afternoon and compare them to caffeine-free evenings. Look for changes in sleep onset latency, time spent in deep sleep, and overall sleep efficiency. Small adjustments accumulate. A single week of strict curfews can yield meaningful gains in alertness, focus, and mood the following day. If you work late or social commitments push your schedule later, shift your caffeine cutoff correspondingly and preserve the core elements of the 3-2-1 framework. The aim is not deprivation but precise tuning of arousal and recovery so that your brain's nocturnal housekeeping runs smoothly and your focus rebounds by morning. The strategy, the 3-2-1 method. No food 3 hours before, no work 2 hours before, no screens 1 hour before. Quality sleep supports learning, mood, and metabolic health. The approach here centers on a disciplined wind down that primes the brain for restoration. No food 3 hours before bed, no work 2 hours before bed, and no screens 1 hour before bed. This is the 3-2-1 rule, a compact framework designed to lower physiological arousal at multiple levels and to synchronize the brain with the body's natural rhythms. When dinner, tasks, and screens are separated from sleep by intentional gaps, the odds of entering deep, restorative sleep rise. The goal is to maximize sleep efficiency, not just time in bed. Junk sleep is a real, measurable problem. It happens when you spend enough hours in bed but your brain rarely reaches the deeper stages that matter for attention and memory. You may drift through light sleep while your mind stays hyperalert from late caffeine, after-work stress, or irregular bedtimes. The result is cognitive fog, slower reaction times, and mood volatility the next day. Even a full 8 hours can feel like junk sleep if wake-ups are frequent or if you're stuck in shallow sleep phases. The core issue is arousal lingering into the night, preventing the brain from completing its nightly cleanup and consolidation. The glymphatic system, a structure best understood through the brain dishwasher metaphor, clears metabolic waste from the brain while you sleep. As you drift into deeper sleep, cerebrospinal fluid flows along perivascular spaces and washes away byproducts that accumulate during waking hours. When this flow is robust, the brain effectively shines, shedding inefficiencies and toxins that can disrupt attention and mood the next day. The 3-2-1 rule supports this process by reducing late-night stimulation and bodily noise, giving the glymphatic system a cleaner, more continuous window to operate. Think of it as giving the dishwasher a longer, quieter cycle rather than starting and stopping at mid-run. Light viewing, temperature, and caffeine cutoff are practical levers you can adjust tonight. Dim, warm lighting in the hour before bed signals the brain that daylight is winding down. Avoid bright overhead lights and consider lamps with amber tones or even blackout curtains to reduce ambient light leaks. The ideal bedroom temperature tends to fall around 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit, about 15 to 19 degrees Celsius. Cooler environments generally promote faster sleep onset and more stable sleep stages. Caffeine should be cut off well before bedtime. Many people find stopping caffeine 8 to 12 hours before bed works best, though individual sensitivity varies. If you drink coffee or tea after noon, you may still feel alert when you want to sleep, and that can fragment sleep. The 3-2-1 rule itself is a practical template you can operationalize tonight. No food 3 hours before bed means finishing meals early enough to avoid postprandial arousal and reflux. No work 2 hours before bed means setting boundaries that quiet cognitive activity and reduce stress hormones. No screens 1 hour before bed means giving the eyes and brain a chance to decouple from blue light cues that suppress melatonin. If your target bedtime is at 10 p.m., plan your dinner to end by 7 p.m., wrap up work by 8 p.m., and switch off screens by 9 p.m. You can replace screen time with a calming activity such as light reading with a paper book, gentle stretching, or breath work. On weekends or shift schedules, adapt the windows by a similar proportional shift, but try to preserve the order of the wind down. If a late event pushes your routine off schedule, shorten the last step of the wind down rather than skipping it entirely, so the brain still experiences a clear transition to rest. To optimize sleep efficiency, combine these elements with consistency and awareness. Keep a simple sleep log for a few weeks. Note bedtimes, wake times, awakenings, and how you feel during the day. If you notice persistent wake-ups after the first sleep cycle, adjust lighting, caffeine timing, or meal timing accordingly. Short afternoon naps can help some people, but they should be limited to 20 minutes and not taken late in the day, or they can undermine the nightly effort. In practice, the most reliable improvements come from steady routines, a cool dark room, and clear boundaries between wake and sleep. This combination supports not only sleep duration but the quality that fuels focus and cognitive control the following day. The 3-2-1 rule, applied consistently, becomes a reliable lever for rebuilding focus overnight. The result, the save button. How sleep moves information from short-term to long-term memory. Sleep orchestrates memory consolidation by moving traces from a hippocampal short-term buffer into stable cortical representations. That transfer is the brain save button, a mechanism that preserves waking experiences as durable knowledge. During slow-wave sleep and, to a supporting extent, REM sleep, replay strengthens synapses in storage networks and tags memories for long-term storage. When sleep is too fragmented or brief, consolidation falters, producing what some researchers call junk sleep. Junk sleep leaves memory traces weak, so recall feels fuzzy and learning new material costs more effort. The glymphatic system acts as a brain dishwasher, using cerebrospinal fluid to wash through interstitial spaces. During sleep, especially slow wave phases, interstitial space expands and glial channels help flush waste toward clearance pathways. This cleansing clears metabolic byproducts that, if left piled up, can disrupt neural signaling. Clean networks support accurate replay and efficient transfer of memories. The brain's housekeeping and its memory machinery work in step while you rest. The save button operates through hippocampocortical dialogue. The hippocampus replays recent experiences while the cortex gradually assumes ownership of those traces. Sleep spindles, slow oscillations, and sharp wave ripples coordinate this exchange, aligning timing and strength of synaptic changes. Deep sleep supports broad synchronization, and nested spindles help push hippocampal traces into stable cortical networks. REM sleep adds value for emotional and integrative memory, binding disparate experiences into coherent narratives. With consistent, high-quality sleep, the save button becomes more reliable and recall improves the next day. Light viewing matters. In the hours before bed, dim screens and warm lighting support melatonin onset. Keep the bedroom cool and comfortable. A target around the mid-60s Fahrenheit helps slow wave generation. Caffeine should be cut off well before sleep, as sensitivity and daily load vary a lot. The 3-2-1 rule translates these ideas into a practical routine. 3 hours before bed, avoid caffeine. 2 hours before bed, finish large meals. 1 hour before bed, stop screen use and begin a wind-down ritual. Bright light exposure late in the evening fragments sleep and reduces slow wave time. Tailor caffeine cutoffs to your own response and daily caffeine patterns. Track your nights with a simple diary or wearable to see how well the save button is working over weeks. When recall and task performance improve on days after consistent, restorative sleep, you have tangible proof of optimization. If you've stuck with me to the end, you're aiming to rebuild focus overnight, and your brain is listening. Let's tie this together with a clear, actionable picture you can take to bed tonight. Junk sleep is real. You can clock 8 hours, yet wake up fogged because the night didn't deliver restorative stages. The brain didn't get enough slow-wave sleep to reset circuits for attention, decision-making, and memory. It's not just about hours in bed, it's about the quality of those hours and how consistently you sleep. When sleep becomes fragmented or misaligned with your body clock, you end up with what I call junk sleep. You're resting, but your brain isn't rinsing out the buildup of daytime waste and recharging the networks that run your focus. Now the brain science in a simple metaphor, the glymphatic system. Think of it as a brain dishwasher. During deep, slow-wave sleep, cerebrospinal fluid flows through the brain and clears out metabolic waste, proteins like beta-amyloid and other debris that accumulate during wakefulness. This clearance helps you wake sharper, more alert, more emotionally steady. When you shortchange deep sleep or disrupt the nightly wash cycle, the dishwasher runs too slowly, and the brain emerges from the night foggier than it should be. To stack the odds in your favor, use these concrete protocols. Light viewing, dim screens and warm lighting at night. If you need to use devices, enable blue light filters and keep brightness low. Aim to finish vigorous screen time at least an hour before bed and replace it with calmer, non-stimulating activities. Temperature, keep the bedroom cool and comfortable, roughly 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 to 19 degrees Celsius. A cooler room supports faster sleep onset and maintains that deep sleep needed for the glymphatic wash. Caffeine cutoff. Stop all caffeine 8 to 10 hours before you plan to sleep. People differ in sensitivity, but a firm cutoff around late afternoon is a reliable rule to prevent spillover into your sleep. The 3-2-1 rule. 3 hours before bed, finish caffeine and other stimulants. 2 hours before bed, avoid heavy meals and alcohol that disrupt sleep architecture. 1 hour before bed, switch off screens and engage in a calm wind-down routine such as light stretching, breathing, or journaling. Direct summary of key points. Junk sleep drains your brain's ability to focus even if you've logged many hours in bed. The glymphatic system acts like a nightly brain dishwasher. Deep sleep accelerates clearance of metabolic waste. Practical steps: light viewing, cooler temperature, a caffeine cutoff, and a 3-2-1 wind-down. Maximize sleep efficiency and daytime performance. If you've seen the pattern you want to break, you're not alone. A lot of people don't realize how much the environment and timing shape the actual sleep they get. You can start tonight by dialing in the 3-2-1 rule, cooling the room, and stepping away from screens an hour before bed. For next time, I'll dive into how to tailor these principles for irregular work schedules, how to track whether your sleep is truly improving with simple at-home metrics, and how to weave short, restorative naps into your day without sabotaging nocturnal sleep. We'll also explore how to handle jet lag and shifting chronotypes so your focus isn't knocked offline by travel or change. If you're curious to see what happens when you optimize like this, try tonight's protocol and note how you feel in the morning. Share your results in the comments so others can learn from your experience, and subscribe for more videos where we translate neuroscience into practical routines. If you like this, you'll want to catch the deeper dives coming up: the science of sleep stages, personalized sleep timing, and how to quantify sleep efficiency in a way that's simple and repeatable. Tonight is your first step toward a cleaner glymphatic wash, sharper attention, and steadier mood by morning. I'm here with you, and I'll see you in the next video with deeper tools to fine-tune your sleep for peak cognitive performance.